She stood in the pouring rain, her hands trembling as she dropped the envelope on the park bench. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "I'm tired of fighting." She didn't know someone was watching, someone who had already decided he would never let her go. Backhand index pointing down. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because one act of kindness can change everything. Backhand index pointing down. Madeline had always been a fighter. Life had never handed her anything on a silver platter. From losing her parents at a young age to working 3 jobs just to keep her younger brother in school, she'd known struggle more intimately than most. She didn't cry easily, she didn't give up easily, and she definitely didn't let herself be loved easily. But that night, standing under the dull streetlight near Madison Park, soaked to the skin, she had finally reached her breaking point. The envelope in her hand had taken her 3 days to write and 3 years to find the courage to deliver. It wasn't addressed to anyone, it didn't need to be. The words inside were raw, real, and full of ache. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of pretending I'm strong. I'm tired of always holding everyone else up while I drown inside. She didn't know who would read it. She just hoped maybe, just maybe, it would free her from the weight she'd carried for too long. But what she didn't know was that someone else had been sitting on the bench, just out of view. Someone who had been watching her quietly from the shadows, someone who had seen her come here for weeks, same time, same place. His name was Ryan. Ryan was a single dad. He had come to this park almost every evening with his little daughter, Lila. It was the one place she felt happy after losing her mom. And in the quiet hours after sunset, once Lila fell asleep in his arms, Ryan often stayed a little longer. That's when he noticed Madeline. She always looked tired. Not physically, but soul-tired. The kind of tired that sits behind your eyes and doesn't leave. He'd seen her smile at passing dogs, help a homeless man with her last dollar, and once sit down beside a crying child until their parents came. She didn't think anyone noticed, but Ryan did. That night, when Madeline walked away from the bench, leaving behind the envelope, Ryan waited until she turned the corner. Then, gently, he picked it up. He didn't open it right away. He held it in his hand like it was something sacred. The weight of the paper felt heavier than it should have. As he read it under the park light, he felt something twist inside him. She was tired of fighting. But he wasn't tired of fighting for her, not yet. The next day, Ryan brought Lila to the same bench. And he waited. Madeline didn't show. He returned the next day. And the next. Finally, on the 4th day, she walked through the park, slower than usual. Her shoulders slumped, eyes searching. She wasn't sure why. Maybe she hoped someone had read it. Maybe she just wanted to see if the world still noticed her. Ryan stood up. "Madeline," he said gently, like he already knew her story. Her eyes widened. "Do I know you?" "You don't," he said, stepping closer. "But I know you left something on this bench. And I read it. I hope that's okay." Her face turned red, embarrassment flooding her. "You weren't supposed to." "I know," he said softly, "but I'm glad I did." She started to walk away, but he wasn't done. "You said you're tired of fighting. That's okay. Let me fight for you." Madeline didn't respond right away. How do you respond to a stranger who offers to carry your burden? Especially when you've been carrying it alone for so long? She tried to dismiss him, saying she didn't need saving, that he didn't know her. But Ryan didn't flinch. He didn't push her. He simply sat down on that bench every evening with Lila and waited. Sometimes, Madeline walked past. Sometimes, she sat on the far end. Eventually, she sat beside him. They began talking. First about small things, like Lila's drawings and the dogs in the park. Then, over time, about life. About grief. About the fear of being too broken to be loved. And every day, Ryan showed up. He didn't demand anything. He just kept showing up. One night, as autumn leaves fell around them, Madeline looked at him and said, "Why do you care?" "Why me?" Ryan looked at her for a long moment. "Because I saw the way you picked up that crying child weeks ago. Because I saw the way you gave away your dinner to a man who didn't even say thank you. Because I saw a woman who was breaking but still chose kindness. And because I know what it feels like to be tired." She stared at him, something inside her cracking open. That night, she told him about the worst day of her life. The day her little brother overdosed. The day she realized all her efforts, her sleepless nights, her sacrifices, weren't enough. Ryan listened. Not with pity. But with presence. Then he told her about his wife. How he'd lost her to cancer just a year after Lila was born. How he cried silently into the pillow every night, not for his own pain, but because he didn't want Lila to grow up without seeing love. "I don't know if I'll ever love again," Madeline said quietly. "Then let me start by being your friend," he replied. Weeks turned into months. The park became their place. The bench, their altar of healing. Lila started calling her Maddie. Madeline started cooking dinner for the two of them. Ryan found reasons to laugh again. And slowly, Madeline found reasons to live again. One evening, just before Christmas, Madeline brought 3 mugs of hot chocolate to the park. She sat beside Ryan, looked at him, and said, "I'm not tired anymore." He smiled. "Good. Because I'm still fighting for you." They sat there as snowflakes began to fall, their hands quietly finding each other in the cold. Madeline looked up at the sky, where snowflakes continued falling like silent blessings, as if the universe, too, had felt her exhaustion. In that moment, she realized, sometimes, we don't need to keep fighting for love or peace. Sometimes, just having someone willing to fight for us, is enough. She leaned her head gently on Ryan's shoulder, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. She didn't feel broken. She felt seen. Wanted. Safe. And as little Lila giggled while catching snowflakes on her tongue, Madeline smiled, realizing she had found not just love, but a family. Backhand index pointing down. If this story moved you, please like the video and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Let's spread hope, because someone out there still needs to know they're worth fighting for. Backhand index pointing down.